Yeah, I had amazing parents. Yeah, I had an amazing father, an amazing mother. I think they both did their particular job very, very well. It was a clearly gendered household. Um, from a very young age, I was moved up a bunch of grades because I was clearly a genius from the start. Played a lot of chess, moved to England, started fighting, kicked a bunch of ass, and here I am. That's basically it, really.
Why did you lean more into let's go do some work, let's learn combat sports? If chess is not available, for me to compete in, I'm going to go do this instead. Like, why not just sit around and pick your nose and cry?
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of important lessons from my dad in the days I lived with him, but one of the things he was very, very good at, he had a few fundamental themes throughout our when we lived together throughout my childhood, and one of them was about excuses. So if I lost a chess game, for example, there was a chess tournament. It was 7 hours drive. We drove 7 hours. We stayed up all night. I stayed up with him. I played chess in the morning. I lost. I only had 2 hours sleep. And when I lost, I said, "Oh, because I was tired." And my dad made a very big point of saying, "Look, it doesn't matter if you were tired. Your excuse has fucking nothing to do with the win or the loss next to your name. You've lost now. No one's going to say he lost, but he was tired. They're going to say you lost." And this is the truth about excuses in general. Any excuse you can fabricate. Nobody cares. The universe doesn't care. Did you win or did you lose? Life is binary. Did you survive or not? If you come at me and say, "Oh, I'm fat because X, Y, Z," the girl isn't in the club isn't going to be like, "Oh, well, he's out of shape, but it's okay because X, Y, Z." You're just fat. It's binary. Life's binary. So you have to make a conscious decision. Excuses don't exist. They don't have any weight. They don't matter to anyone else. So why should they matter to you? And as soon as you realize that all that matters is the result and you have to be binary about your decisions, then you're going to start throwing all that crap away. And I understood that from a very, very young age. So even when I was a teenager in England and I decided I wanted to be successful, I didn't sit and go, "I want to be successful, but I'm in a single room in a homeless hostel, single mother." I just knew I wanted to be successful. People are either going to view me successful or not. They're not going to care about anything else. So if they're not going to care, I didn't care. It didn't enter my mind at any point. I didn't let it cloud my vision, if that makes sense. It never entered my mind. This is my situation. This is my scenario. So I have to do what I can do, and that was it.
I remember, going back and forth when I was a kid, and I'm curious as to what that was like for you at 11, because you think it's English, but when you go to England, it's you've got to replace sweater with jumper, pants with trousers, trucks with lorries. You go right down the list. Like, what was that like for you, shifting your life from North America to the UK?
Yeah, it was quite different. I mean, obviously, when you're a kid, you're more susceptible to things like, you're at the time, I was the only American in school, and the education was different. Like, you go from learning certain lessons to completely new things. And I was really big into chess when I was in America. There was no chess scene. So it was a complete 180 in terms of lifestyle. But I think kids adapt, and I'm really a strong believer in the fact that I'm very thankful my parents didn't give me any sympathy in that regard. Like, when we moved, my dad's sisters were saying, "Oh, he's losing all his friends. He's moving country. He needs therapy. He's going to be upset," that all this shit. And I'm super glad my parents said, "You're a Tate. You're going to be fine. Shut up and go to school." And you just get on with it, don't you? 1 week in, you now live in England, and I believe children can be that way if they're trained to be that way. So for a while, it was kind of weird. But then after a while, you got to go to school and you got to do your things and you just carry on with life. So that's how it was.
Let's just find out a little bit about you. Where were you brought up?
Yeah, so I'm originally American, right? My mother was English, my father was American. I grew up in just outside of Chicago till I was about 11 years old. And then we all moved to England. So I moved to Luton, lovely Luton. Doesn't get better than that. And I was in Luton for the majority of my kickboxing career. I was training there. I was living there from the age of 11 till about 27. And then, in a true pessimistic style, I kind of started to believe that the Western world was on the decline as a whole, not just England, but Germany, France, America, England. I just felt like they were declining and other parts of the world were on the ascent. And I thought, it's better for me to be somewhere which is on its way up than on its way down. That's a better use of my money. It's a better use of my time. So I moved to Slovakia originally, which is a very nice place, but then it's a bit small. So I've ended up here in Romania. So I live in Romania now. I'm 0% Romanian. I have nothing to do with Romania. I've just kind of rocked up. So I've been here for about 4 years.
Yeah, $2 million with the cars. And it's actually interesting you say that, because I was exactly the same. When I used to see fast cars when I was young, it used to ruin my day. It used to make me angry.
Yeah, me too.
I'd be walking to college and I'd see a Ferrari and I'd be like, how does he have 300 grand for a car? I haven't got 30 dollars in my pocket. That's all my money in the world. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like there was a whole reality to the Matrix that I was missing. There's some kind of hack. Because even then, at age 15, I remember this story very specifically. I'm walking to college, me and 3 of my friends. We see a Ferrari. I look it up. I find out how much it costs. And even then, I'm saying to my mom when I got home, if you work a good job, like, how much do you make a month? She's like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe make 3,000, 4,000. I'm like, that still won't buy that car. Like, how did this guy get that car? It didn't make sense in my mind.
Yeah.
And there's a whole reality to the Matrix that bothered me for a long time. And I think that's one of the key elements to things like success in cars and stuff. If you really want it, you'll find a way to get it. If you don't really want it, you're not.
You'll find an
And I think,
excuse.
yeah, you think an excuse. And I think a lot of the reason people don't like cars is, well, they'd love cars if they could buy one, but they'd rather pretend they don't like them because they don't believe they're ever going to be able to afford one. In a way, I'm glad I moved. I think when my mother, this is actually quite weird because I'm seen as a conservative, but I was raised in a country with a strong social system and raised in a homeless hostel and all these things. And they say,
especially when you're on the dole and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we were in a homeless hostel at the time. It was the Kosovo crisis. So there was this big house, and it had like 10 rooms, and each family was in a room. So it was our family in one room, and there's 9 other Kosovan families.
Mm-hmm.
So I was from the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder in that respect. But yeah, I really do believe whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and I'm super, super happy for everything that happened in my childhood. I'm 0% like, you can make excuses and be a dickhead, but I don't think it was that hard. I mean, I had food to eat, I had somewhere to sleep, so I'm a kid. What more do you need? You know, that's what it is. What it is.
Yeah, there's a good chance you wouldn't have become the man that you are today had those circumstances not been imposed on you. Like you didn't choose them. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So your folks split when you were 11, 12 years old. Why did they split, by the way?
So my dad was, I believe I had the greatest dad in the world, but he was a part-time dad in regard to the fact that I saw him, even when we lived together, I saw him maybe once a week. I believe, and as much as this is contrary to the manosphere and stuff, I believe a father can be a fantastic father one day a week. I believe a mother's job is the sustenance, the food, the basic shit, but the mindset installation is from a man. And I believe that if he's powerful enough and capable enough, he can do that in one day a week. That's how often I saw him, you know? So that was enough for him to do what he did. He was a professional chess player who was constantly traveling the world, drinking, playing chess, fucking girls, doing whatever he wanted to do. And one day my mom had enough of it, so she wanted to go back to where she was from. She was originally from England. They moved there together. They split up. She wanted to go back to England. So that was it. And I went with her. So my dad didn't at any point, there was no big battle. There was no big fight. There was no custody or nothing. He said, you're the oldest man. You got to look after her. You have to go. Mm-hmm. Go. And I'll see you when I see you. And